Ever watch the strongest fall short or the wisest get ignored? Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 11 exposes a pattern so unsettling that even scientists struggle to explain it. Yet it points directly to Jesus. How is it that the fastest runners lose races? Why do the best minds sometimes die in obscurity? Why do the faithful suffer while the wicked prosper? If you've lived long enough, you've seen the strong fail and the brilliant fall short. You've seen outcomes that make no earthly sense. You're not alone. Solomon saw it too. And in Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 11, he recorded something that theologians, philosophers, and scientists have been unpacking for centuries. The race is not to the swift, but time and chance happen to them all. It's a verse that offends logic, but don't look away. It also unlocks a mystery hidden in plain sight, a truth that ultimately points to Jesus Christ. Ecclesiastes is Solomon's deconstruction journal. He dismantles every pillar people trust. In pleasure, Ecclesiastes 2, 1 through 2. Work, Ecclesiastes 2, 17 through 23. Wisdom, Ecclesiastes 1, 18. Righteousness, Ecclesiastes 7, 15. In chapter 9, he reflects on death's dominance. Everyone dies, whether wicked or righteous, wise or foolish. Then he observes injustice in how success is distributed. Outcomes seem disconnected from virtue or effort. This frustrates our legalistic instincts. If success isn't earned, how can we live meaningfully? The answer isn't what, it's who. Solomon's 6 contrasts aren't random. They cover every category of human greatness. First, speed or race, quickness, agility, and opportunity. Yet the fastest don't always win. Next, strength or battle, military might, power, dominance. But strength isn't a surefire path to victory. Then, wisdom or bread. Even the wise go hungry. Insight doesn't guarantee survival. Intelligence or riches is another. Smarts don't always lead to wealth. The economy plays by no moral code. Lastly, knowledge or favor. You can be right and still be rejected. Solomon identifies all the tools people use to control their fate, and then shows how unreliable they really are. Solomon's final blow. But time and chance happen to them all. The Hebrew word for chance, pega, also means encounter or collision. It's not just random chaos. It implies divine interruption, the crash of expectations. An astrophysicist might link this to chaos theory, where small variables create massive unpredictability. Or quantum mechanics, where particles behave unpredictably despite perfect conditions. And entropy, where systems trend toward disorder no matter how well designed. In modern terms, outcomes aren't purely logical. They're governed by variables we can't control or predict. Solomon was pointing this out thousands of years ago. Let's break the verse down by questioning every assumption. If I'm good, I will succeed? False in a fallen world. Proverbs often teach cause and effect. But Ecclesiastes says, hold on, that's not always true. My gifts guarantee my future? Nope. All gifts are subject to decay, as Romans 8 verses 20 to 21 point out. Wisdom leads to provision? Not necessarily. Provision comes from God, not just insight. So what's the core truth? Human effort and excellence are real, but they are not ultimate. God governs outcomes. This truth reframes your identity, your purpose, and your theology. Let's be honest, this verse is not encouraging, unless you look higher. Solomon creates a vacuum that only the gospel can fill. Consider the swift didn't win, but Jesus ran the race for us, as it says in Hebrews chapter 12, verses 1 to 2, the strong didn't conquer, but Jesus triumphed through weakness, as noted in 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4. The wise went hungry, but Jesus is the bread of life, according to John chapter 6, verse 35. The intelligent lacked riches, but Jesus became poor so we might become rich, as mentioned in 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 9. The knowledgeable lacked favor, but Jesus grew in favor with God and man, as stated in Luke chapter 2, verse 52, and then gave us his favor. In every category where human ability fails, Jesus succeeds perfectly. He lived the life we couldn't live, and he grants us his righteousness as a gift. Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 11 ultimately points to Christ as the one true exception, the one sure foundation in a chaotic world. Let's shift gears. What would an astrophysicist say about Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 11? Under the sun is a geocentric limitation, like trying to understand the universe from one pixel. Time and chance resemble quantum uncertainty and entropy, scientific terms for unpredictable outcomes in complex systems. Life's apparent randomness isn't lawlessness, it's just beyond our ability to predict. They might conclude even the universe is designed to humble human pride. Just like Ecclesiastes, physics shows us that control is an illusion. But theology tells us God is not surprised by anything. Let's land this with practical truth. Stop thinking, if I win, I'm valuable. God's love is not outcome dependent. Your identity isn't built on your results. It's built on Christ's finished work. Ask yourself, did I obey God even if I didn't win? This shifts you from stress to steadfastness, from ego to eternal security. When time and chance mess with your plans, don't assume failure. See them as holy collisions, moments where God invites you to trust. Ask, Lord, what are you forming in me through this? Interruptions are often where transformation happens. Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 11 doesn't glorify chaos, it exposes our need for Christ-centered faith. It reminds us that success isn't guaranteed, that control is an illusion, that God's providence overshadows human performance, and most importantly, it sets the stage for Jesus, the only one not subject to time and chance, the only one whose race, battle, wisdom, and favor were perfect, and are now offered to you freely. Take the quiz. What's your under-the-sun mindset? Want to discover where you may still be trusting your own strength, wisdom, or intelligence instead of God's providence? Take the quiz in the description. It's short, insightful, and may just shake something loose in your soul.